I've been doing a lot of work over the last few months, and while physically there's not a lot of buildings or anything like that going up, well, I've decided I need to clear out so that I can see, well, what kind of view do I have after I actually have this building up. Because I didn't want to put a building up and then start clearing and be like, I wish that my house was, a few feet this way or a few feet that way. Oh, the view's terrible. So I've been clearing things out. So how about I take a moment to give you a 360-degree view of what's been happening over the last couple of months. And I'll even try to stick in some before photos so you can see how far we've come. Now, also, I'm going to take a close-up shot and show you just a little bit. Well, I'm going to give you a grand tour of what's been happening, and I'm going to show you the vision. Where is it and what is it I'm planning to do? So let's get after it. After I finally got the internet working, I moved out to the Off Grid Homestead so I could work as much as possible. After clearing out a bunch of junk and laying down some brick pavers, I moved into the side of this old barn. I quickly built a makeshift kitchen, set up my office, took the seats out of the back of my galloper, which now is my bedroom, used those seats for a tiny living area, and now it's gotten fairly comfortable. A few flowers to attract hummingbirds and butterflies really adds a nice touch too. If you haven't seen the video that gives you a tour of our temporary living quarters, you should check it out. Now this area is where the garden is going to be. And in Costa Rica, gardening is quite different. You see, we're so close to the sun and it gets so much during the rainy season, you actually need to put kind of like a greenhouse, but not a greenhouse. You just got to have a cover. So you'll see where farmers are planting tomatoes and everything, they'll have plastic over their garden so that the rains don't just pummel and just tear everything up and the sun doesn't beat it down. So I've got some pipe back there, and the next step is to actually build a frame, cover it with plastic, and in that way I'll have a garden here. As you can see, I've already got some tomatoes coming up over here. And this soil is real fertile. So this is where the garden's going to be so that I can have plenty of fresh vegetables, because we're just too far away in order to go buy vegetables on a regular basis. I mean, when you run out of a tomato or lettuce, you don't want to drive an hour and a half to town just to have a fresh salad. So I'll be able to plant everything I need right here. So our garden is going to go about to where this tree is. This tree, it's rotten. So it's dying, and I'm going to have to go ahead and cut it down, and that's okay because it leans this way toward the tiny house. So I'm going to cut this down, and the garden is going to be from about here that away. Plenty of fresh vegetables. Now over here, as you can see, I've got it strung up to where the tiny house is going to be. And as you can see, well, this is about 10 foot wide and about, well, will be about 30 foot long, okay? Now, this is going to be, I guess you could say, the underneath, if you want to call it, because the house itself, the first floor is going to be anywhere from 8 to 10 feet up. And the underneath is going to have these nice paver bricks underneath here. And in that way, I can have an outdoor kitchen, and I can have maybe my weight equipment and things like that. So that kind of gives you an idea. So that means that, my view, the best view I have, I've got a pretty good view over here, but I will have a phenomenal view over there. So I've strung it out to get an idea where should the house be in. I've moved it several times trying to figure out where is it going to look best. So this will be the front of the house so that, I'll have a loft way up high, and so this loft will be able to look out over this view, and that loft will be a bedroom, probably my office for right now, because I don't need more than one bedroom at the moment, okay? So I'll probably have an office at the top, not quite sure what it'll be all down here on the first floor, and then of course this will be all open underneath. Now, back on this end is where that kitchen might be, or maybe the kitchen will be up here. Anyway, what I like to do is I'll come over here and I will envision that I'm on the second floor. And if I'm on the second floor looking out, what does my view look like? Let's look. Wow, doesn't that view look great? Now, right now, there's some trees there, but we're gonna chop some of those trees down so that we can open it up and see what kind of view do we have. So right here on the back side, this is where my back porch is going to be. So I want to sit right here on the back porch, watch the monkeys as they come by. Here's a couple of them. There's the building, and there they are. This will be covered so that whenever, I go into my tool room, my bodega, my storage room, it will be covered so it doesn't get wet in the rainy season. But I should be able to sit here and have an amazing view. I don't have the view I want, and there's going to be a phenomenal view back here. So what I want to do is clear that out and see what kind of view I'm going to have, and I should have this amazing view of the valley back there. So we're going to get out that axe and that machete, and we're going to get after it today. We're going to clear up, and we're going to just see what kind of view we're going to have. That way, when I'm sitting on the second floor of my tiny house, I'll be able to look out and just enjoy that. So I think we're going to have something quite amazing back here. Let's get after it. All right, it's day 2. As you can see, it's starting to show some promise. It's looking good, and I think we're gonna have a phenomenal view. However, I only got to work about half the day, or about noon, and it started raining, which is unusual because summer is here, thank goodness. And so we're not getting near as much rain, but we did get some rain yesterday, and it rained pretty much until about 9 o'clock today. And so here it is already after lunch, and well, I'm gonna get back after it. However, I did a whole lot of work yesterday with this axe and a machete, but it's time to trade that baby in for the big dog. Let's go get after it. Now that right there, that looks good. That's what RNCJ would say. And he'd probably cut his head off because he got all this stuff on him. But anyway, whew. That's really a full day's work. It really looks good. And now with that, I can see we're gonna have a phenomenal view. Right now it's kind of hard to tell because it's cloudy, but I'm gonna insert a beautiful view at the end of this.